Good morning and welcome to another episode of Overcoming Self-Doubt. I'm Linda Chung and this morning I'm joined by Jonathan Lea. Good morning, Jonathan.
Morning, Linda. Nice to see you again.
And joining us from sunny Sussex. It's changed a little since I was last there.
Yeah, the backdrop, I don't know where the backdrop's from, but yeah, that was obviously somewhere else. But yeah, so we're based in mid-Sussex, not too far from the coast. So hopefully I'll be down there this weekend now that we're officially allowed out or to have picnics or whatever the latest rule change is.
Well, actually, given our conversation, it seems an appropriate backdrop because one of the things that you're well known for is actually that you left big law firm behind. You left the sort of pressures of big law firm. You've been very open about the fact you left for a better quality of life, to have space around you, move into a place you could have a house and garden rather than live in the city. So tell us a little bit more about that journey of founding Jonathan Lea Network.
So I think when I originally chose law, it was something that I had in mind. I think I was attracted to working in the city, but also to have a qualification where it could lead to you starting your own business, running your own law firm, in this case, in the future. So that sort of quaint idea of the high street solicitor or having a network of local contacts, I sort of had that in my mind. But yeah, so the career, once I got going with the career, it never particularly working in London, it was never quite worked out as how I saw it or anticipated or hoped it would. So yeah, the dream of continuing a career, building a career at a big city law firm rapidly kind of ended. And then I was thinking what else I could do, and then moved out of the city and spent a couple of years working for a regional firm in Cornwall, which was a big change at the time. That was 2009, 2011. But dealing with my own clients and dealing with all our clients down there were all entrepreneurs and owner-managed businesses. So that gave me, one, the insight into the running of a smaller law firm, and two, the confidence of dealing with my own matters and clients without any supervision really at all. And there wasn't really anyone else who did that type of work in the law firm. And then I got a broader mix of work as well. So after 2 years and a bit in Cornwall, the idea was like, right, okay, let's move back to Sussex and then start and look at starting my own law firm, which I realised was more complicated and more costly than I thought. Then looked into the self-employed consultancy world and the virtual law firms. I thought, okay, great, that sounds as if it could work really well. I'll give that a go. I think I initially did for a few months, or kind of got that going, but then chickened out, and a recruitment agent started talking to me about a great small law firm in Liverpool Street. So I thought, okay, this is going to be really hard work starting on my own, but let's, best if I go and work for a small law firm in London, then have the best of both worlds, and I don't have to spend years trying to build something from nothing myself, and I have a good platform to grow from there.
So if I can interrupt you very briefly, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm probably wittering on far too much. But.
No, not at all. It's because, of course, we're here today talking about self-doubt, and we're wanting to help people that might struggle to overcome theirs to move forward. And very specific language you use there. You chickened out, I wanted to pick up on. So yeah. You went, and in saying that, you actually then said how actually you were thinking how to cover off on that, how you covered off on the risk. So when you say chicken out, was it more about how you explored what other options were available to you rather than, I'm running away from the situation?
Yeah, so I just remember like 2-3 months working from a flat I was renting in London at the time. And initially it was kind of, I had some money coming in, I was sort of building relationships with people, getting a client base. But just thinking like over that, whatever it was, 3-month period, that, things, it's going to be a long time before I can kind of grow and move on from that and develop something. Okay, it works, but it's a bit lonely, kind of working from a kitchen table in a one-bedroom flat in London. I guess my head got turned by the opportunity of working what I considered what was a really good small law firm, which did work out great for 12 months, and it was good personal development. But I didn't really get paid that much, and I couldn't really see. Again, after a year there, I couldn't really see my career developing in the right way, and then after that experience, it seemed far less of a risk to go back to trying to do my own thing again. And I could see, if I could earn more money doing that than being at a small law firm, even if I just stayed as a self-employed consultant solicitor and didn't grow from there.
So your chickening out actually gave you a whole heap of other data that made the next step feel less risky.
Yeah, exactly. So when it did get to the point of like leaving that small law firm, it was like, right, okay, definitely I'm going for this. No looking back now. Let's give it a go for at least a year, whatever happens. And then, I haven't sort of, I guess, looked back from there. So, and probably as a result, I enjoyed it a lot more because I wasn't thinking about, what else I could be doing, or at that point, there didn't really seem to be any other opportunity or any other route I could take. I'd kind of exhausted every possibility of big firm, small firm in the city, regional firm, what have you, and thought, okay, I could well take another employed position, and it could be fantastic and work out really well, but I think it's going to be too much of a risk. It's more likely, given my experience to date, that for whatever different reasons, it's not going to work out. It's going to be a waste of my time. So I need to stop wasting time and starting my own thing and seeing where that's going to lead.
You had effectively tried every possibility by that point.
Yeah. So I guess it got to the point where it seemed the riskiest thing to do was least riskiest thing to do in the overall bigger scheme of things was to start trying to do your own thing.
And one of the things we've spoken about, because we've known each other through our startup journeys, is how you actually, your language has been about capping responsibility. It's how much responsibility to take on at each stage.
So to give an overview, I started working for myself as a self-employed consultant solicitor, operating under the insurance and regulatory umbrella of what we call like a virtual law firm. So I did that from 2013 to sort of pretty much 2017, 2018. I think after the second year of trading, I was definitely at that point, I could have got my own regulated firm going and grown from there. But I guess there were some complications like moving out of London and that taking time. And when it's only you yourself, then all these things become much more significant. But also I quite enjoyed not having to go anywhere or be answerable to anyone, not having any employees or a bigger thing to manage, as it were. So that whole, not that I really appreciated beforehand, but I got to understand that, running a law firm or seeing other people who were doing that, particularly the law firm that I was operating under the umbrella of, was quite a stressful experience with a lot of responsibility, and being able to keep things capped, as it were, in terms of things you need to manage and you still have sort of good income coming in, was at that stage of my life was something I quite appreciated and enjoyed. And just being able to go off traveling for a few weeks at a time, I did a couple of times, which I couldn't have so easily done before.
What changed then? So you did some amazing work, you got to earn lots and travel and enjoy the freedom of that, but you did start hiring people. Jonathan, what happened?
That was always my ambition, what I wanted to do. I think I just put it off far too long, but it got to the point where it was just more and more frustrating to turn work away, and it was a bit like shooting yourself in the foot, in that even with really good clients you've done things for a while, you built a really good relationship, they'd then get in touch, and because it was only you said, I'm too busy, you have to go somewhere else. So that was kind of part of the reason for the name, the network. So I was constantly referring work to other law firms or other consultant solicitors, which has kind of been quite good in the long term in building relationships, and those are still people that refer work to me now and that I collaborate with. But it was, it got to the point where it was completely unmanageable, just me on my own, and I was spending more and more time just of the working day turning work away and referring it onto other law firms. So it was getting more and more ridiculous. So eventually that sort of forced my hand, I guess. And then eventually took the time out, found an office, moved into the office, hired a couple of people, and then bit by bit grew from there. I think subconsciously or consciously that the whole freedom and flexibility aspect of working for yourself was obviously more of a draw than making money. Although, as I'm discovering, it's quite hard to do that the bigger you grow.
And it's continually working out what you want your life to be about in that sense, right? What the balance is between the different elements.
Yeah. And I think once we've grown roughly over the last 2 years, between sort of late 2017 and late 2019, I think we worked out our turnover grew sixfold over that period, and it's sort of stagnated, flattened since then. But you kind of, once you get going, you have to keep growing. I guess you can't really stay still, otherwise you run the risk of going backwards. So you have to, and you have responsibility to everyone else who you're working with as well. You have to keep creating more opportunities and converting those, and trying to build the firm. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck.
Yes, and you were saying specifically, growth has slowed, obviously, with everything going on right now. But nonetheless, you've been very public about committing to new contracts and committing to staff in your team. Has there been any element of self-doubt regarding that, given we don't know what's going to happen and how long this pandemic and lockdown is going to be in place?
Yeah, sure. So I think all of us try to be as positive as possible during this period. You can't kind of, like any situation, don't want to dwell on the negatives, what could be the negatives, what have you. We've had a fair amount of work on that's kept us occupied. To the extent we haven't, then it's allowed us to spend time doing marketing, specifically content for the website, which we haven't got around to doing for a while. But as I say before, we want to keep the momentum going, so we don't want to stay still. We want to maximise the use of time as well. So Andrea, who's been with us a few months, the paralegal, it's sort of her time, as it were, regardless, to then join us to convert to a training contract, whereby we commit to one, increasing her salary a fair bit, and then two, she's going to be with us over 2 years, and then cost relating to doing the training contract as well with the SRA. But we want to keep moving forwards, and hopefully we can continue to attract work and just keep the positive mindset, and hopefully this situation doesn't last too long or have too much of a detrimental impact to everyone.
What's been your key approach to that positivity? So there's lots of uncertainty, but we're keeping positive at Jonathan Lea Network because we're doing...
So one opportunity we've got is where we finally, there's a few of us a year or so ago, we finally got round to launching an e-commerce shop aspect of the website. We put a few products on there. They seem to work okay. The downloads have been going up month on month. It's still compared sort of tiny amount of money coming in the grand scheme of things, but it's still working well. One of the good things about that is that when somebody downloads a product, you get their name, their details, and their email address. So, for example, it was quite good the other day we put an example short form due diligence information request list on there, and somebody downloaded that. So we got their name and email address, and I messaged them through LinkedIn and say, I see you downloaded this product. We deal with lots of small company M&A scenarios. Is it worth us having a call to discuss how we might be able to help? And we got a decent small bit of work as a result of doing that. So that's good to know that the website, the shop itself, that content on there is starting. It has worked in that one instance, and will hopefully be a good investment of our time and generate more work over the next year and longer period.
So an opportunity to test things that you've been meaning to get round to. Get products out there that you haven't had a chance to put up before. I mean, as lawyers, you never know what's around the corner or where your work's going to come from, and particularly now, if we can't really do much face to face or
networking in the real world, as it were. I think the website becomes even more important to make sure that we're getting a decent one, getting the traffic is increasing, and two, we're actually generating a good number of leads through it. Because you can't really stay still with that. You have to keep adding new content and making sure what you're doing is having some positive effect as well.
Fantastic proactivity. And then you personally, what are you doing to keep positive in this strange time, Jonathan?
I've been doing a lot of cycling, I guess because we can't do anything, or plans we would have had at the weekend of going to see friends or parties or going long weekend breaks or whatever it might be. The weekends are suddenly a lot quieter, so I've been doing sort of 3-4 hour bike rides, which and discovering new parts of Sussex near where I live, which is I've discovered I quite enjoy, and it's been a good break from the routine. And beforehand I found myself last year getting stuck in the routine of actually not really doing any exercise and not breaking up the week, and got quite ill as a result. So I think I've got a renewed appreciation of that, and certainly feel a lot better once I've blown away the cobwebs and done a decent sort of 3-4 hour bike ride.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing your insights with us today, Jonathan. I guess the themes that are very striking to me from our conversation is how you did make sure to try every avenue. You've explored everything in your journey, found what works for you in that. And then, interestingly, you've talked about how sometimes you've switched completely. You've gone 180 in terms of your perspective on it, having lived the journey and experienced those different options.
Yeah. I mean, I've had varied experience now. Now we're trying to recruit self-employed consultant solicitors ourselves. It's quite interesting that they can see on our website from what I've written and discussing to them, I've kind of been through that journey, as it were, themselves, and know what it's like to work as a consultant solicitor and what works and what doesn't work. That sometimes that works quite well in as a recruitment tool.
Truly been there, lived it, can appreciate it.
Now things are slightly different. We've got a bigger operation, but then I hope the opportunity and the platform to grow from here. And I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but I'm now quite grateful to be taking that sort of step further, I guess, rather than being stuck working from home still, even though I did enjoy it at the time.
Keep open-minded. That's a good way to finish our conversation today. Thank you so much for your time, Jonathan.
No
Enjoy
problem, yeah.
the beach behind you, and we'll speak again soon.